But I could still memorize some, but not all. Hello guys! Welcome back to my YT channel. Again, this is I am a singer, channel voice, your YouTube content creator, your small YouTuber at your service. I am a singer, eternal voice. So, Shantaro, you are really a singer? Yes, because I can sing. It doesn't mean technically that you are a professional singer to call yourself as a singer. Right? Wow! Ang taray! Nakakaloka. May ganun, sir? Yes, of course. When you sing, you're a singer already in English. Add ER, then you are a singer. It doesn't mean you have a perfect tune, a perfect pitch, or whatever. Or you're a professional singer. As long as you're singing, then you are a singer. Okay. Now going back to the fractional force and the static fractional force. But this time, guys, we need to solve the static fractional coefficient and the kinetic fractional coefficient. Okay, so this is gonna be the reverse. Okay, like that. The reverse siya mga palangga kung hitan. Okay? Paano ba yung gagawin sa Shotero? Reverse na sa ta. So reverse na punta. Okay? Ano lang siya? Okay? Diba? So guys, what interests me now is I really need to solve for the nuclear, weak and strong forces because it found me to be enjoyable rather than this kind of forces that acting too physical lang siya. There's no such involvement of the molecules, the particles. I need to go deeper, something like that. Okay, deeper and deeper. Wow. Okay, question number 2, a force of guys, ang kauban bright kay Ani, a force of, and his name is Engineer Timoteo Idolantes. Okay, of 65 Newton. Okay, is needed. Okay, to start ganon. To start an 8 kilogram. What's this? An 8 kilogram box. Okay, moving across. Wow, preposition. Across. Okay, across, front, at the back, beside, nearby, around, within, underneath are all preposition in English. Okay, it designates location, specific location, so that we can easily visualize what is the place we are trying to refer. Okay, that's preposition. Okay, moving across, across, right? Okay, adjacent also and opposite is still a preposition. So now maximize everything about preposition. Put that in your notebook. Okay, the English terminology is all about prepositions. Okay? I always say in this way, not only math and science, we need also to study basic English. Okay? Get the point. This is not difficult English, right? I'm not talking about the technical report writing. This is only just a simple vocabulary or grammar. Okay, moving across. In fact, this is not also a requirement for to become a journalist or an editor. This is just only anybody can learn about basic and simple English. Okay, moving across. Ang taray mo naman, Sir Sotero. Yes. Maldita. Okay, horizontal or maldito. Charot. Surface. Okay, then A, calculate like that. Okay. Calculate the coefficient. No, na. Tunga na. Coefficient, okay, of static. Wow. Static. Static, friction. Okay. Friction. Static is also the same as stationary, friction. Stationary. There are two, right? Stationary and stationary. Okay, be careful also how to use the stationary and the stationary. That's not the same. I think so. Review. Go to Webster Dictionary. Okay. or in www and see for the definition and meaning for that. Okay, B. If the backs, okay, continues. Wow, continues. What is the difference between continue and continuously or continues? Okay, would it have the same meaning? Continues and continuous. This is continuous, right? In English, continue. There's also continuous, continuous, O-U-S. So how can we differentiate between continue and continuous? Continuously, but you cannot say continuously. There's no wrong grammar. If you put ly here, we cannot put this ly to become an adverb. This is an adverb already. If you put ly, okay, something like that. Okay, so we are not talking of adverb here. That's an English. Okay, the backs continues to move. Move the sound, intonation, with an acceleration. Okay. Okay, acceleration. Guys, you don't have to do that. It's only me. Okay, I put intonation in my English, articulation during my delivery of my discussion. Okay, and you don't have to follow and to copy me because it's only my style. Okay, of 1.4 meter per second squared, diba? Second squared yan talaga. Okay, what is, okay, the actual, no, what is the coefficient? Wow, the coefficient. Ang haba ng mga statements, nakakairita, of kinetic fraction. Okay, nakakaloka. Fraction, okay? Ganon. Oh yes. Okay. Now, go back to the question. Our question states like this. Okay. Okay, because it doesn't need in the 5 Newton is also acceptable, just saying 65 newtons. Meaning the plurality and the singularity is no longer in relevance in science when you speak. You get the point? Okay. It's not particular. So I will say a force of 65 newton, and I will say also a force of 65 newtons, it will never matter anymore. As long as it is 65 newtons. Okay? You get the point? Okay. A force of 65 newtons. See, because see, if you're trying to be straight and then why is put after n, after this value, see, a force of 65 newton is, and is a singular in form, right? And then it will not meet the vocabulary because 65 is more than 1. Supposedly you will say 65 newtons. Anything that is more than 1 in counting, in measuring, you will put s in English. For example, I will say, my calculators, because there is more than one calculator I have. So, but in here, it doesn't matter at all in science. Okay, because I will say, a force of 65 newtons is, so it will never agree, right? Because there's an S and I will put is, it could have been R here. Okay, because I say 65 newtons. That's why it doesn't matter at all. You get the point? Ganon. Okay, so I will say a force of 65 newton is, or 65 newtons is needed. It's no longer considering the linking verb agreement, noun and verb agreement in this particular paragraph. Okay, it's needed to start an 8 kilogram box moving across a horizontal surface. Okay, actually, guys, this can also be pronounced as horizontal or horizontal. It doesn't matter, ha? Okay, it depends on the situation. But both are acceptable, horizontal and horizontal. Okay, just like advertisement and advertisement. Okay, it could be acceptable also, but more correct if you use the advertisement, something like that. But it's still acceptable, what I'm trying to emphasize. Okay, it depends on the situation, if it's an UK English and the American English. Things like that, okay? You don't have to worry. Sometimes also color, color? In UK English, that is C-O-L-O-U-R, okay? But in American English is COLOR already, but both are acceptable. Something like that. And another example also is defense, right? Civil defense. In UK, you will use C, DEFENCE, but in American English, DEFENSE. So different spelling, but it's acceptable to use both. Okay? Do not try to fight with that because it's very shallow to fight with that kind of issues. Okay, like that. Okay, A, calculate the coefficient of static friction. Wow. B, if the box continues to move with an acceleration of 1.4 seconds squared, what is the coefficient of kinetic friction? Ganon. Okay. It looks like difficult at first, right? But try to solve it in a positive perspective. Well, meaning your mentality will be positive always so that you can easily solve problems very well. Especially if you are facing a lot of examinations in the future, you will be facing examination regarding math and science, then it's your mentality that matters the most. Treat that as easy as you can, like that, and have a positive perspective. Wow, positive mentality that you can really solve that. Why not? Oh. Okay, now let's say a force of 65 newtons. So, wow. Okay, this is the box. Okay, like this. Sketch for illustration. Need to start at 8 kilogram box. Wow, here. 8 kilogram box is here. Okay, and then you have an applied force of 65 newton. Okay, 65 newton is your FA mga palangga. Okay, ganon. Labeling, sketching, it would help a lot to solve the problem more easy. Okay, sure. Okay, like that. Okay, now moving across a horizontal surface. Okay, calculate the coefficient of static friction. So meaning to say there's a static friction, frictional static force here, opposite to your applied force. It's going to be FS. Okay, so you don't know yet the magnitude of your fractional static force. Okay, and then you don't know yet also your coefficient because try to find out. Okay, it's gonna be mu Fs. You don't know. Ganon. Okay, so stop your interpretation here or your analysis here in the A. Okay, okay. Horizontal forces are acting on it. Then you are forced also to solve for the vertical forces because you need the normal force to get the values of your frictional static force, right? Okay, so you're gonna say like this. Okay, this is an upward force of Fn. And then you have also the weight force downward, something like that. Okay, there are a lot of forces here. First, applied force. Second, frictional static force. It is in the right, going to the left, right? And then we have the upward force, normal force. And the downward force is the weight force. So 4 forces acting, right? In here. Now, we do first the vertical, okay? Calculate, okay, we do the vertical first because we cannot solve for the static frictional force without the normal force, right? Ganon. Okay, so summation of your forces vertical F net Y is equal to the positive upward normal force minus the weight force directed downward. Okay, normal force we don't know yet, but we have the weight force of mass times the acceleration due to gravity. So mass is 8 kilogram times the acceleration due to gravity is 9.81. Okay, now in this case, because at first it started from rest, okay, then you treat that as F net Y vertical is equal to 0. That's the reason, okay? Don't memorize. That's the reason why we are treating our F net Y vertical as 0. Because at first, it's not yet moving, okay? Like that. So that we can understand, not memorizing the pattern of it's being solved. Okay, normal force is equals to like this. Transpose that to positive from negative from math algebra. Okay? You always, you always incorporate the theory and concepts of algebra, geometry, analytic geometry, and everything, elementary math, so that you can understand how to solve these kinds of problems in physics, right? Okay, so A times 9.81 mga palangga kumita is equals to 78.48. Okay, 78.48. Okay, 78.48 Newton. Okay, this is your normal force. Before proceeding further, investigate once again. What are the vertical forces involved? Because you may be wrong. There are hidden forces involved. Why I say hidden forces involved? Yung nakatagong forces in which is not yet mentioned here. Okay, what are those? Air resistance. Okay? Air resistance also sometimes will be carried over. It depends on the situation, but you should know also to be alert. Ah, there's an air resistance. Yes, in the vertical. If we have the friction, static, and kinetic in the horizontal, there's also air resistance as a friction in the vertical forces involved. But here, it doesn't mention, so don't make a headache. Okay? Like that. Okay, so we have the normal force now here. Okay, so what is the formula of fractional static force, mga palangga? So it's gonna be Ffs is equals to mu Fs times the normal force. We have the normal force here already. And then we need to solve the fractional static coefficient. But then we don't know yet the fractional force, right? So this is your equation 1. So you have two unknowns. So at least you have two equations to solve this kind of problems, right? So we need to go back to, okay, so anahon din mo mga palangga. Okay, so horizontal force now because we are finished in our vertical forces. Okay, so horizontal force, summation of Fx net, okay, x net because horizontal, is equal to the force applied by Junjun again. Okay, Junjun push this 8 kilogram to the right. So it's gonna be positive applied force Fa 65 newtons. So positive because going to the right. Okay, then, okay, the fractional force in which we need to find out so that we can get the static fractional coefficient. Okay, like it's a minus a fractional force. Ganon. You get the point? Now, this is equation 2, right? Nakakalog ka. Then investigate again. What are the horizontal forces involved so that you will not be wrong, mga palangga kung hitag. Okay, ganon. So there are two unknowns, the Fx net and the frictional force. So what we will do to this research, Otero? As I told you earlier, this is starting from rest. So it is not yet moving. So we will put Fx net also equal to 0. Okay, is equals to 65 is equals to fractional force. Okay, meaning to say you have the same force to let it start to move the 8 kilograms. So this is also your fractional force. Okay, ganon. Okay, get the point, mga palangga akong hitag. Anak dayon. So get the point. So compute nila mo ang fractional static coefficient is equal to the fractional force 65 Newton divided by your 78.48. Ganon. Because there's no space anymore. I cannot elaborate further. My whiteboard is very, very limited in space, right? So it's not enough. I'm not contented and satisfied. So all I have to do is sometimes not to put the data, okay? It's just to express that, okay? Anyway, you can listen carefully. Anyway, my English is very clear, very tight. I'm talking too fast or very slow. It's average, right? It's gonna be like that, okay? So, fractional static coefficient is equal to the fractional force 65. Okay, 65 divided by 78.48 is equals to 0.83. And the answer of letter A is 0.83. Your coefficient of your static fraction, 0.83. Okay, now the clue here is always less than 1. Okay, if it is above 1, then you will be wrong. Okay, it's always less than 1. Just like the emissivity in the radiation topic, that's also less than 1. Things like that. And the same also in the molarity, normality, expression of your concentration. The mole fraction, mass fraction, volume fraction, pressure fraction, name it, all fraction, less than 1. Because the 1 there is 100%. Equal to 1. So it will be more than 100% if it is beyond 1. Common sense, right? Okay. So now we need to solve letter B. If the box continues to move with an acceleration of 1.4 meter per second. Oh, it's moving already. Okay, like that. So what is the coefficient of kinetic fraction, nakakaloka? So we need to erase. There's another situation, forget the A. Okay? Because this is another situation or conditions. Okay? So, it's hiwalay. Meaning to say, buwag siya. Okay? So, you need to solve this separately. Okay, now. Okay, what is the coefficient of kinetic fraction? Ganon. So, you will change now here your kinetic fraction, fractional kinetic force. F, K, F. And then you have also to find the kinetic fraction, static. Okay, fractional kinetic static. No, fractional kinetic coefficient. Nakakaloka. Fractional kinetic coefficient. Ang hirap no, masapit akong dila. Fractional kinetic coefficient. Nakakaloka. Okay, ganon. Question mark. Okay, now forget the static because it's another, question. Okay, now, again, do the same thing. Okay, so how can we do that? Okay, FKF, fractional kinetic, fractional kinetic force is equal to the coefficient of kinetic fraction, mu Kf times the normal force. Normal force will always be the same, okay, because it doesn't change, okay, like that. So how much? Oh, you don't have the FKF, you don't have the mu Kf. So you need to solve for the FKF. Again, going back to this horizontal. Okay, anak siya. Okay, so iditso na lang natin. Okay, 0, we do it directly. It's just the same story. We let f net x is equal to 0. Then we can say FA is equal directly to your FKF. Okay. Take note, guys, the kinetic friction force have the same direction with your static, okay? Fractional static fraction, the same direction. Okay, so it's gonna be F is equal to FKF, right? Your FA is 65 and your FKF is also the same, right? Then think of another forces involved so that you are very, very sure if you have a correct answer, right? Nothing, right? Okay, so it's gonna be like that. There's no tension forces here, right? Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be like that. So in here, going back to FKF is equal to mu KF, you can solve for your mu KF is equals to the 65 as your KF, KFF. Okay, it's gonna be 65 over 78.43. Okay, like that. So be sure, guys, it's also less than 1. Okay, so 65, okay, divided by 78.43 is equals to, okay, 65 divided by 0.43. This is the same value with your kinetic fraction. Let's say maybe I am wrong. Let's go back. This is on the spot. That's why. Okay, let's go back. It's impossible to oh, nakakaloka. Your coefficient of static friction is just the same with your kinetic friction. There's something wrong. Okay, if the bags continuously to move with an okay, there's an acceleration. Okay, so you need to break this. Nakakaloka, no? Okay, we need to break this F net into mass times acceleration pa. Right? So you will see again, okay, things like this, as I told you, kung na yung mga acceleration, mga motion, ma-change good siya. Okay, ano na yun So nakasabot lang yun ka guys ba? So F net X, okay, is equals to FA minus kinetic fraction force. Then F net, iyag-yag din mo. Ano ka? Mass times acceleration is equals to second law of Newton. Okay, then FA maama kay 65 klaro kayo. So 65 minus fractional kinetic fraction FKF. And then mo na siya mong FKF. So FKF mass naasad siya. Mass is pila to 8 kg na yun. Okay? Nakakaloka. Diba? So 8 kg times the acceleration of mentioning, see? 1.4. 1.4 like this. Okay? Diba? Your brain cells will really work. Oh, what's happening? Something like that. Okay? So it's very enjoyable. So kinetic fraction force, okay, is equal to ana din siya. Okay? So mahitabunan mo anong higayuna is transpose chuba chucho, right? Okay. Okay, transpose chuba chucho, di ba? So 8 times 1.4 is equals to this 8.4 is positive, right? And then you transpose the 65, that is negative 65. Your answer will be negative But obviously, you have still the negative beside the FKF. So negative divided by negative is positive. So that's why your answer for fractional kinetic force is positive, not negative, right? Okay, it's gonna be like that. So we have 53.8 of your FKF, and this 53.8 is substituting with this numerator. So 53.8 divided by 78.4. Okay? 53.8 divided by 78.43 is equals to, we have 0.68. Mu KF is 0.68. Okay. Now explain why the coefficient of static fraction is more than the kinetic coefficient fraction. Why? Okay. Why, Delilah? Because it requires you more forces to stop entirely the object. Okay? But the kinetic is only moving already, so it needs only a smaller kinetic fraction coefficient. Because this is very high. To make it stop, it needs an amount more. That's why 0.83. Okay, do static. Okay, apply na local force, imagine. So you need to add more static friction. Something like that. Static, rather than the kinetic. Kinetic is already moving. So you only need small. In order, you get the point? You get the point? Mga palangga kong hitad, kinetic friction. Okay? Like that. Okay, any questions so far for this question? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it and you can share this to senior high school student, grade 12, and also to the senior college or first year college, right? Taking up physics. It's gonna be physics 1, I think so. Talking about forces. Okay, if you are not subscribing my channel, you can subscribe, and I'm very, very grateful to that. And you can also click the bell notifications, and if you try to watch any of my videos there about physics, about science, about safety, then you can do that also, and I'm very, very happy for that. Thank you so much, guys. God bless everybody. See you later. Kaloka.